Well, good morning and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yorifola, and perhaps I should start off by saying happy Easter. And okay, that's that. Now, of course, the news continues. It never ever stops. But so let me, continue by saying a happy Easter to my guests in studio here. First of all, we got Comrade Abubakar Akuso. Comrade Abubakar Akuso is the National Coordinator, BT Support Organization, Bola Tinubu Support Organization. Yeah. Thank you very much for coming. Happy Easter to you.
Happy Easter. It's a pleasure being here.
Indeed, our pleasure. And Barrister Femi Aino, international lawyer and 2023 aspirant for Ogun West. Good morning, sir. Happy Easter to you too.
Yes, happy Easter to you.
Since I introduced you like that, the 2023 aspirant for Ogun West business, is that on the platform of the PDP? Is it on the platform of APC? Is it on the platform? Where?
Well, by way of a quick response, I know you like to ask me that question, but we cross that bridge when we get to the
And that's your traditional answer. Because there was a time I thought I heard that you were just about ready, you packed all your loads, you were about to move into APC, and then you chilled a bit.
Mr. Ayari, there are so many myriad of issues we need to discuss. Let's discuss that now. Whether I belong to a PDP or APC, we cross that bridge, and I wish you...
When we get to it.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, Barrister Femi, as defensive as ever, but always a delight to have you.
Yes, sir. Same here.
Indeed. But I thought we might look at... what's happening in the not so much in the polity, in the country. Especially as we're having problems with security, in particular banditry. I mean, it's one thing, we already have the issue as far as terrorism, internal terrorism. Those who are going to be very, very strict about it, that's what they call it, internal terrorism. But then, right next to this, we're now beginning to see increasing incidents of criminality, banditry, kidnapping, and all that kind of thing. In fact, interestingly, in relation to all the criminality that we're now experiencing, two things came out. One, over the weekend, I think it was even as recently as yesterday, Sheikh Gumi, a religious leader, he visited former President Olusegun Obasanjo at his home. And when I say visited, well, I should probably explain that he led a delegation, a sizable delegation, I think about 8 people or so, to meet with Obasanjo. And Obasanjo himself was ready. All sorts of dignitaries were also in attendance. They had come, the long and short of the meeting was that Sheikh Gumi had come to report to Obasanjo on his efforts to really, put his shoulder to the wheel. And long story short, after long, deep, frank discussions, as described in the articles, they came out with a communique, and one of which was federal government should hit hard at all of these bandits. Just hit them hard, make a decisive strike. That's on the one hand. Although the way I saw it initially was with the maybe something of a slightly sensational headline along the lines of settle bandits, settle bandits who want to be rehabilitated or something like that. Well, that might have been in there somewhere. But when you look at the other side, that's one idea that included, quote unquote, settle, empower bandits ready to surrender. Obasanjo and Gumi tell federal government. That's the headline. You have on the other hand the governor of Kaduna, El Rufai, saying that I don't think any bandit deserves to live. So you can see two diametrically opposed. Now that's Sheikh Gumi and his team. It has to be Abeokuta. And then, as I was saying, right next to this, another story came out that bandits don't deserve to live. Let's look at this from the point of view of, do we really have the will to deal with these matters? And let me start off with my friend, Comrade Abubakar Akuso.
This issue of banditry has become a national disaster. The government has been trying its best to see all sleep with our 2 eyes, but it's unfortunate that it's getting worse day by day. And the major problem we're having is this banditry are saying, who are their leaders? Today you see this faction coming out that is their leader. You discuss with them. Tomorrow you see another faction coming out. They said, it has become something that nobody knows where to start from. Sincerely speaking, dialogue would have been the better way of, settling this issue of banditry. But in the other ends, we need to hit them hard. It is when you hit them hard, the ones that are really willing to surrender will surrender. Indeed. But the moment you keep talking to the leaders, this one will say this today, this one will say this tomorrow, you deal with fearless leaders. And in any moment you see people with that leaders, it's become very difficult for government to know who to talk to. So really, sincerely speaking, I believe in hitting them hard so that we can get to the root of this.
How about the whole idea of, Sheikh Gumi and his activities? It's not everybody that agreed that, the good Sheikh, is on the right course. I mean, there are those who, first of all, maybe were afraid, maybe thought he was speaking up for them. But it's just as well that this statement has now come out that both of them are advising the federal government, among other things, to hit them hard, even though there is the settle, empower bandits that are ready to suspend, to surrender.
I really appreciate what Gumi is doing, because he took it upon himself as a Nigerian. He felt what was happening in Nigerian because it's giving us bad name in the international community. So he took it upon himself to go to them. But the problem is, the moment he sat down with them, comes out that they are willing to surrender. The following day, you see them hitting hard somewhere else. So I felt we need to look at it critically to see, okay, where are we getting it wrong? Is it for us to go with him by settling it up with them? But all leaders have to come back to drawing board. If really he's talking to leaders, then all the leaders should come come on board. Not him talking to this faction. After talking with this faction, tomorrow another faction will hit hard. So it's like he's discussing with some certain set of groups that does not believe in their leadership.
Okay.
Because if they all believe in their leadership, after Sheikh Gumi talked to them that they are willing to surrender, we don't expect them to hit somewhere again. So I felt we need to look at it tactically and sit down. Where are we getting it wrong?
Okay.
Where do we get it right?
Barrister Femi, he said, among other things, that he identifies with hitting them hard. But who is the them that we're hitting hard? If it's the lead, if it is the I want to leaders. There might be a captain of a gang, but that's not the same as a sponsor. And we've heard that a lot of these gangs. Do you really think they're working for themselves, or they might be? Could they possibly be working, as it were, under sponsorship, very much after the mode of the mafia, where the real bosses are invisible? You see the foot soldiers, you see the formations.
I take your point, but to be candid, I'm of the view that these boys, they are working for themselves, and I'll tell you why. The reason being, in Nigeria today, as we speak, kidnapping, cattle rustling, banditry seems to be a lucrative business because they are making money. Once they start making money, then they see it as a business. And they don't need somebody to sponsor them because, number one, they know that if they kidnap someone, the next thing, they're going to get ransom. And it's a substantial ransom indeed.
So that probably explains why El Rufai says not a couple of taxpayers' money.
Understood, and I agree with him absolutely. Even if you go to the Metropolitan Police website, the advice about kidnapping is that you must not negotiate with them and you must not pay ransom, because once you pay ransom, they're going to kidnap somebody else. And what Sheikh Gumi and the others, what they are doing, one must commend them. But at the same time, we must see these boys as criminal. That is the first starting point. And I agree with the President Buhari when he ordered the military chiefs that, look, you need to go after all these boys. Look, Mr. Yori, I must tell you, and I'm going to tell you wholeheartedly, that what is going on in this country is very disturbing. Kidnapping, people losing their life unlawfully. And my major concern is this: there must be joint thinking to deal with all these myriad of issues. And the problem we are having with all these boys, you cannot isolate it from the level of depravity in this country. Boys coming out of school not getting a job. Those who even have a job, they don't get paid. Those who get paid, the money is not even enough to meet their needs. And people being laid off without any benefits being paid. You have pensioners who have been waiting for years to receive their pay. So you have a myriad of problems. And that that is why, if we are going to deal with this issue, there must be a concerted effort. It's not left to Gumi meeting Baba Obasanjo and all this issuing communique and what have you. All the governors must come together, and there must be a resolution how we are going to deal with this issue. Until we do that, then I doubt whether we can go home and sleep. That's my take on this.
But this, thank you very much. This is a problem, comrade, that we've been confronting, addressing for quite a while. And, you know, truth be told, your respected opinions are not fresh. They've been saying, commentators, experts, observers, analysts have been saying precisely this over the years. Yet, here we are. I guess what people really want, one of the things we hear is that where there is service delivery, where governments are actually delivering on their primary purpose, which is service, service, whatever aspect of it, service to the people, then there will be much less of this. First of all, do you buy into that? And then two, could you say that we have the problem we have because, you know, the delivery of service get as it be?
Sincerely speaking, all this of this banditry must have a base. Most of these boys you see today joining banditry is because either they are graduates, they have no job to do, either they have skills to do, but they don't have starter packs. A graduate now, terrorists will come, they will talk to them, okay. Someone that will wake up in the morning, he doesn't know what to eat in the morning, talk less of lunch, talk less of dinner. These bad people you see coming to entice them, okay, come, join us. You have no work doing, your government have failed you, they didn't give you employment, come join us. Start giving them talking. The moment they start collecting talking from them, they become part of them. They've enticed them. That is why, as Chief has said, we need to go back to drawing board to address this issue of unemployment, or this issue of service delivery to Nigerians. That is the main base of all this is coming up. Look at Maiduguri today. You see small boys joining Boko Haram. You look at them, you see that they're heartless or what? No! It is because they're lost up in the country called Nigeria. Not because the government is not providing for them. Just because they felt they need a means of livelihood. Well, the government actually isn't providing for them. No, as much as government would probably want to. It's all about, we constantly hear from you politicians that it's all about management of resources. So government probably wants to. But I fear life is becoming a bit tougher and tougher. There's so many things in the realm of services that you can't really take for granted here, that our people are where you travel and you travel outside, you take them for granted. Things like water, things like light, and those are the very, very, very basic amenities. The amenities. Well, and once there is power, of course, I know we're addressing this at the moment, but people look at the conditions, even a roof over your head. Even a roof over your head is a gargantuan affair, no matter what the scale is that you want. And when you get it, you're probably not going to have water. You're probably not going to have light, unless and until you step into those particular functions yourself in most places of the country. I'm not talking about all the mansions that litter the country up and down. No, I'm not talking about those ones. You take that for granted. But people have to dig their own wells, people have to sink their own boreholes, and on and on. So it looks like there's a gap in trust. There's a gap in trust between those that are governed and the government, and so the people probably are getting on a bit with their own ideas, knowing that, are you going to wait for government? There are even times you say, you can't wait for government. I don't know if all of these sort of factor in at the end of the day to why this problem is becoming intractable. Because for many, as you guys seem to have indicated, there's no alternative to this way. I mean, apart from appealing to their morals, God doesn't want it.
Yeah, but practically, there's no alternative.
Sorry to disturb your flow of thought.
Please, carry on.
I think it goes beyond moral, appealing to their moral. It goes beyond that. You see, the other side of it, actually, is you use the word service, but it's not service in invited comma alone. Effective service, meaningful service. And at the same time, to bridge that gap, the public trust in government is very, very essential. Once there is a mistrust, what you're going to get is what we are putting up with now. And you cannot isolate that there is that mistrust. And at the same time, citizens too also have a duty.
As you know, to be fair, if you're talking about mistrust now, it didn't start now.
No,
there has been mistrust down the ages.
I agree.
With various administrations.
Yes, I take your point, but I invite you to take my point. My point is that it is now heightened because of that mistrust, and what we are putting up with now is. I know you hardly agree with me on this. Mr.
No. I just want to hear it.
It is a failure of leadership. What is going on in the country now is a failure of leadership.
Why wouldn't I agree that is your opinion?
It is my opinion.
Why wouldn't I agree?
And it is not limited to my opinion. It is an opinion shared by some of your viewers as well. But the fundamental is this: the citizens too need to try and make sure there is an effective leadership in this country, and by voting for people who are out to serve and who are ready to serve meaningfully. And that is why we need to appeal to them that when you are selecting leaders, don't vote for money. If you vote for money, once the money is not there, there's going to be a problem. So there are a lot of issues we need to look at. Honestly, let's be realistic.
We are engaging our future.
Wait, let's go there. No, Barrister, thank you very much. So let's go where he led us. You might notice, he said, I think speaking to the electorate, speaking to the public, that when you come together to select leaders, he used the word select, not elect. That speaks to a certain aspect of how we go about our matters of democracy here. It's a selection process, perhaps, more than an election process. Never mind what is happening in the front of the house. But in the heart of the house towards the backyard, there's a selection process going on. In the front yard, they can be doing election.
Yeah, but
would you agree? First of all, would you agree?
I won't agree that it's a selection process.
You won't agree that our elections are selection processes?
Yes.
They're not.
They're not.
You think they're actually election processes? Free will?
No, see, don't say I'm cutting you short. For the first time in the history of Nigeria, 2015, if you can remember, the present government, this is the first time we say after 1992 election that brought in Abiola were free and annulled. If you look at 2015 election was what we call the free and the freest. The fair and the freest. Why? There was a government in action, the government of President Jonathan, PDP government. We Nigerians went on to the poll. We voted in President Muhammadu Buhari. It is because we trust him. First and foremost, if really we trust the president, then there shouldn't be that mistrust between the electorate and the government. We voted in the incumbent president who defeated a sitting president. So in Nigeria, you see, is a gradual process. We're in the process of building Nigeria. As he earlier said, yes, Nigeria, I will call it, I'm a youth. Nigeria has, to me, my thinking, Nigeria is a failed nation. Because for how long have we been? Government have not been living up to expectation.
Did you say failed nation?
Definitely.
Okay. Almost.
No. Well, it was a failed nation before 2015, before President Muhammadu Buhari came in. Came in to rescue Nigeria. If you look at Nigeria is the process of building now. So we need to trust the government we elected ourselves to defeat a sitting government, to trust them to take us to the glory land.
Yeah. But
the moment there is mistrust between the government and the electorate, there is problem. We need to believe in the government that the government will take us to glory land. It's not easy. See, let me tell you one thing is, we are heading to 2023.
Yes.
And our decision come 2023, that will be a decision that we need to make either to get it right or get it wrong. Okay? President Muhammadu Buhari is trying his best to put Nigeria at the right step. He might be exiting by the year 2023. He will be exiting.
He will be exiting.
So definitely we need a patriotic Nigeria. Someone that have the love of Nigeria and that believe in the unity of Nigeria. An administrative patriot, an administrator to take over from him. If we make the mistake of choosing the right person, then definitely we have to go back to 2015 again.
If we make the mistake of not choosing the right person.
So as I said, let's forget about money politics. Let's forget about regional or sectional politics. What causes all this is injustice. In the nation where there is injustice, there will be peace. Let's be sincere to ourselves.
Okay.
So let's look at 2023 as a test for our unity. Okay? Let's be very, very careful on who we will elect in 2023. Chief has already said it. If we mortgage our future for just a talking, they'll collect the money and they'll go. They won't come back till after 4 years again.
Okay.
So our choice of who succeed President Buhari is very, very vital.
Okay. Because and bringing this over to you, he brought up some key words there: equity and justice, and he seemed to suggest that it is because it is lacking to whatever extent that we have some of these problems. I see where he also tried to rope in the fact that things have been different in 2015. I noted that, but
he used the word failing state or something.
Just what's your presentation against what he says that we have to watch out in 2023 because at the end of the day, if there is no equity and justice, which I think he is saying has begun to improve since 2015, yes. If I get you right.
Yeah, yes.
It's all over. What would you, first of all, would you agree with that?
Well, you see, the point is this. I listened to Comrade Abubakar Kuso wholeheartedly, and I must say this. But at a point, he seems to be trying to raise my blood pressure by saying Nigeria is a failing nation, especially before 2023.
He did say that.
Yes, he used that.
It caught me on that.
And I'm very concerned.
But he then quickly amended that before 2015.
It's up before 2020. That was when the PDP was in power.
Yeah,
if I can recall. Where are we now? Is it a failed nation now?
No. He's saying it's better.
It's better.
It's getting better, yes.
He says it's getting better. As his personal opinion,
great.
It's important to attach Comrade Kuso's name to that.
By way of a quick response,
yes.
It's getting worse. That is the position now.
Okay.
That's my position. That is getting worse. And because it's getting worse, that's why people are being kidnapped every day. That is why cattle rustling is the order of the day. That is why people are being killed unlawfully. That is why corruption is still going on and we are not ready to bring people to justice. And I must say this to you, Mr. Jori. One thing I'm very concerned about Comrade Abubakar, when he said money politics, we should avoid that in 2023. How are we going to avoid money politics in 2023 when people can't even put food on their table, when they receive their wages, as soon as they pay school fees, there is nothing left, when their children come back from school and they are still at home, still looking for mama and daddy to provide them food, whereby the reverse is supposed to be the case. So in 2023, money will still be part of it, because once these people, they need money in order to live. And the irony of it is that they are being exploited. There are some people who don't want them to come out of that poverty, because at the end of the day, they know they will have money to give them so that they can get their vote. There are a lot of issues we need to sit down and talk about which Nigeria we want in 2023. We are not going to vote for publicity this time. We are going to vote for substance. And anybody who wants to be the president of this country, we need to come out and tell us how it's going to solve all these myriad of problems we have. Nigerians are a lot wiser now. And I'm glad that Comrade has a candidate in mind, which is supporting. I don't have a problem with that. We know other candidates will come as time goes by. But we need to listen to them. We want to hear from that. They're going to solve all these problems. The problem of unemployment, restlessness all over the place, one group just springing up. And also, I'm very concerned whether we are indulging all these boys by saying, let's go and negotiate with with them, let's give them amnesty. The problem with amnesty is that once you give them amnesty, another group will spring up thinking there will be amnesty. So that is not the way the Nigeria I want to be proud of. I appreciate I'm in Nigeria now. Once I finish this life journey, I'm not coming back here again. So if you need anything from me now, just take it now.
So that's why you studied international law, so that you'd fit in wherever you landed. I understand.
You can read my lips. Thank you.
It's an interesting, it's light, but it's also very heavy, this conversation that we're having this morning. Because, yeah, 2023, let's even talk about it. 2023 is, just around the corner, really. People who are strategizing for whatever it is in 2023, they don't have enough time. They would wish they had about 4 years, but look, no, what you have is what you have. So, in other words, I see. Mr. Smart is on the line. Mr. Smart in Ikorodu, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and compliments of the season.
Thank you very much. Happy to you.
Thank you for speaking the minds of Nigerians. Of course, we expect the politician to always speak the mind of the politician. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
I said, Barrister, thank you for speaking the mind of Nigerians and the politician. Thank you for also speaking the minds of the politician. You will always tell us about the minds of the politician. And again, the good thing is that the politicians, from what is happening now, they are not exempted. There is an headline now that says an APC whatever she said in Delta has escaped attempted whatever. It's getting close to you now, and I'm so happy that the politicians are always at the hard line now. They are also receiving it. The simple truth is that if you say Nigeria is getting better, from what perspective? Nigeria is getting worse. For goodness sake, if we cannot come together, either as politicians, if we cannot come together as Nigerians, if we are coming together as either APC or PDP, I am a carrying member of APC. I campaign for Buhari. I campaign for Jide, but I am not happy with what is happening in Nigeria. Look, because we're always living that it's not happening in Lagos, it will not get to Lagos. The other day, three weeks ago, a close friend was kidnapped in Ikorodu.
Okay.
They had to pay almost about 16 point something. So where is it getting better? Foodstuff is very high. From what perspective is it getting better?
I hear you.
It is not possible that we do not have a good side from the present government. Of course, for the fact that for once we had a president that came and most of the abandoned projects of over 15, 20, 30 years is revamping it, is resuscitating it. Yes, we are happy about that. But then that is not all. For the fact that we have gone to a local government on our own, we probably contribute money to grade our road. We probably do our own borehole. We probably get our own internal security. So for goodness sake, where is the government helping us? And I'm surprised that politicians will talk as politicians because you want to get position, you want to get there. You will not face the reality. It is so sad.
Okay, Mr. Smart. Mr. Smart, thank you very much. Thank you very much, also for contributing there. Okay, I'm going to bring it to you because against what you thought and what you genuinely feel that Nigeria is getting better, especially since 2015, and we wanted to continue coming into 2023. There you have Smart there, who, as you could tell, was righteously angry. So how can you say?
I really feel the anger of
Mr. Smart.
Mr. Smart, because security.
Because you have to do everything by yourself.
Security is the backbone of any nation. Once there's no peace, the government will be rated low. When we say Nigeria we are moving fast.
Okay.
If you look at other aspects, the infrastructure-wise or as in stuff, the president is trying his best.
Indeed.
And I want us to know that this insecurity, it is not the effort of the government alone. Okay? Now today, the government is standing, and we need to start from our own domain. Gone are those days when today, the community, once you have a visitor, okay, that you don't know, you alarm your village, the head of the area, that this visitor has come in. Where is he from? You don't know where he's coming from. But most of us are the one giving shelter to these people. These people you are seeing, these bandits and others you are seeing, they are in our midst. They sleep with us, they eat with us, they dine and wine with us. So why I say it's all our collective effort is, let's identify the new people in the community. Once you see a stranger coming in, you see him trooping into the, is your right as a rightful citizen, as a concerned Nigerian, to report to either the security post closer to you or to the head of the area. But that will get them. These people are not fearless. These are people that are within us. Okay? And you see the activities of people just coming in, enticing people, and from Niger State. If you look at what is happening in my state, we are one of the most hit states in terms of insecurity. If you look at places like Kagara, people are taking, and the insecurity is getting worse. The government is trying its fault, but the people need to. You can imagine, if as it is in the mix of us, that we're having people that are giving the information. Why on earth will somebody come to your area today? He came, he start distributing motorcycle. You don't know where he comes from. He bring him youth people, everybody go, he give motorcycles. Then you start praising him that somebody has come to your domain. He's doing, why? What brought him? He's a new face. Yeah, but you need to investigate. They don't ask questions. So we need to ask questions. Yes, you just can't say just government alone. You help government to fight insecurity.
Yeah, sorry, comrade, I don't want to talk over you, but if they are hungry, they are not going to ask questions.
No, let me tell you, sir, we need to protect our domain. Okay, our parents are there. Let's not use anger. Hungry to kill ourselves. Just because somebody came in where the whole family is in the area, just because somebody came in giving you a motorcycle,
for example,
let's be patriotic.
It could be sewing machine, it could be milling machine, whatever. I get your point. Paul, good morning, sir, and thank you for holding on.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
All I have to say is that our federal government should tackle banditry. It's too much in this country. I hear what I'm saying.
We can hear you. Okay, Paul, short and sharp. Thank you very much, if that's what you wanted to say. The federal government should tackle banditry. Well, it's part of what we're talking about now. Everybody, all hands on deck, the president, everybody, and we ourselves, it depends on this kind of a conversation, because the ideas that we've been using, all our political faces are quite familiar to us. Let the truth be told. They're quite familiar. All our political faces. It's been going on for decades. I don't know what you think of the idea of a change in the dynamics, a change in the scene being necessary, and whether we even have a chance that that can be allowed in this society of ours here, where fresh talent, bubbles to the surface. And they come on with fresh ideas. Now, is it possible, given the selection that you talked about, that we come to do when it comes to time of election?
You spoke about.
Who spoke of selection? You spoke of selection.
That's not election. I spoke of election.
I think it was a slip of tongue. Maybe
election.
Election.
Yes.
And then this whole matter about money politics. Well, how will money not be part of politics? Because you don't have money, you can't come into politics. Now, I don't know if that kind of idealistic idea of people who are not money bags, who don't have money to give anybody in that kind of a way, but to come forward and with the sheer power of ideas, move us forward. Do you think that's doable in our society?
I'm sorry, I don't want to be too pessimistic, but I can't foresee that in my lifetime, because especially if we don't tackle poverty, that is the backbone of the whole problem. Until you deal with that, even if you go out in the field to campaign, you just realize that people are ready to welcome you with a lot of enthusiasm and what have you.
So far as you are ready to fulfill your own part.
The moment you are ready, the moment they will pay undivided attention to you is when you are about to put your hand in your pocket to show appreciation for their presence. And it's not, and you can't blame them. It's just because that is it's because of what is going on in the country.
So those kind of contestants have an immediate advantage over anybody who is coming there with ideas.
Yes, you may have the idea, but the people do they really want that idea? That is the issue. And the
problem is that they need these ideas. They need fresh thinking.
Mr. Ayori, you may have the whole idea in the world, but to hungry people, they are not ready to listen to you. And that is something we need to try and address. Until we address that, the fresh talents you talk about, they can come forward. But people will not vote for them, because in Nigeria here now, people are only voting for money. And at the same time, even if you invite them to come to your rally, the first question they will ask is, what is he going to give us?
What is in it for me? Okay, let's hear it from Elder Yeni. Elder Yeni is calling in from Kaba in Kogi State. Elder, are you still there?
Yes, sir. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, go ahead, please.
So I have to commend you for the program you are doing. Very enlightening and very good for us to hear. And I want to commend the two speakers. They are speaking the mind of people. The other one is talking about, is defending the politics, and the other one is defending the masses. It's very good to our politics. But what I want to contribute is this. Our security apparatus needs to buckle up seriously. The school is not the way it used to be as when we started. Look at in Niger State, they closed school for some time because of insecurity. You see, people are seeing incarceration in Kaduna State, and other places like that. When we look at this program, the things are not getting better. So I want to commend the speaker.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Elder Yeni from Kaba. Again, he's echoing that theme of things not getting better. But to be frank, to be sincere and frank, a lot of progress had been made on the infrastructural scene by this administration. Nobody can deny that. There are aspects of infrastructure that are definitely foundational to, improvements and progress later on. So that's been going on. Well, maybe because the poverty is so much that people are almost at the level in their desperation of, now that one I go chop, because it hasn't translated to food on their table for reasons that you have alluded to. But gigantic strides in infrastructure development have been taking place under this administration. There's even a lot of stuff that's going on that won't even be ended or will come to fruition in this administration, but will be very easy for subsequent administrations to just deliver cleanly. So that needs to be said, because but we understand when people say it hasn't gotten better, because they're looking at their own individual self and their families. Never mind the, I dare say, like people that are with me here today. It doesn't matter how hard it gets. The tanker will still deliver diesel to your house for your generator, etc., etc. We're not talking about special people.
No, but Mr. Yori, sometimes you make me laugh.
Let's be sincere to ourselves, right? In this aspect of, when we keep on saying poverty, that word has been in domain for a very long time. This government have putting up strategy to remove people out of poverty. There are a lot of interventions from the federal government to remove people from the poverty. If you look at what's happening today, there was...
Are you sure people really want to remove people from poverty?
The government have tried its best. Sorry to say, I don't want to use this word, that we ourselves, are we ready to go out of poverty? That is the fact. Because if you look at the federal government came up with issue of anchor borrowers, they came with issue of NELSA giving COVID-19 loans to boost our businesses. They've been giving this loan. It's good to the extent that you just apply, you'll be giving loan of 500,000 naira as COVID-19 loan to boost your business.
Okay, so
they've spent a lot of resources, but people don't use. People does not use judiciously. Well, you give somebody money for COVID-19, you go and marry tomorrow. You give someone, you go and buy a car.
Okay.
Let's be sincere to ourselves. Are we ready to go out of the poverty we are talking of?
Aliyu Abdullahi in Zamfara State. Did I get that right? Yes. Good morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
I heard all what you are saying, but you are yet to discuss anything about the legal, taking the criminals to the court. Taking them to the court and giving them justice at once, so that it will be an example. A lot of criminals are hanging in our police stations and the rest. It's the ID office, DSS, but up to now there is no any example who shows that this man has committed a crime and he has been taken.
Okay. I take your point. Unfortunately, we have a lawyer with us. Thank you very much for contributing that, Aliyu Abdullahi in Zamfara State.
Yes, and I agree with him. And it's a matter of serious concern that the criminal justice system in Nigeria is not even fit for purpose. people waiting trial for donkey years. Some of people, there are people who have been charged to court for corruption 12 years down the line. They have not been brought to justice. And that's a matter we also need to concern. And also, if you don't bring criminal to justice, the criminal will think crime pays. And what they will do is to continue. And it is very important, and I agree with your caller, that we have an effective system whereby these boys, they will be dealt with in a very robust manner without any legal technicalities.
Which is one of the suggestions of Obasanjo, a special court, set up special courts.
It is not about a special court. If we have a special court for election, we are going to have a special court for bandits, we have a special court for we have courts already. How we are going to make them effective, that is the issue. And let me tell you something as an example, Mr. Yori, please. During the London riot, and some of these boys were apprehended. What they did is that they said court must sit on Saturday and Sunday in order to bring them to justice promptly. And a lot of them were severely dealt with. You see, we need to think along that line. You will, if you listen to a firmer hand. I agree with you.
Which is also what Obasanjo and Gumi are saying, that the federal government needs to hit, well, the way they put it.
They are advocating another special court. The point is this: you can create a special court. That is not the solution. Okay. The court we have, where we charge some of these public exposed persons to, and they are waiting 12 years before we even convict them of corruption. That is, you see, the system is so defective that it is no longer effective. So how we are going to make it effective, that should be a matter of serious concern.
So there's a lot of rebuilding that's going to need to be done. Before I come to you, Comrade Abubakar, we've been reached by, now, where did I, who's on the line there?
George.
Good morning, Mr. George. Good morning,
Good morning,
sir.
Uncle Ibrahim.
Okay, thank you for calling in. Happy Easter.
To your guest. Same to you, sir. Uncle Ibrahim, I would like us to concentrate on the banditry aspect of the discussion. Now, I'm at a loss as to where Sheikh Gumi stands. He seems to be speaking from two sides of the mouth. On the one hand, you hear him defending the bandits, asking for all sorts of favoritism to them, and when he stood before General Obasanjo, is now saying they should hit them hard. Which one are we to believe? The government, the president has said this severally. Go and hit them hard. The question on Koyori that we should all be asking is, why are the security men not actually hitting them hard? Are they not seeing them? Do they not have the arms to use? Do they not have the equipment they can use? The ones that are, the rescues that have been done, where are the culprits? If you rescue people from kidnappers, what did you do to the kidnappers? That's why they keep on repeating what they are doing. The directive that the president has given, I have not seen the effectiveness. They have not carried it out.
Indeed.
And it's like the security people are looking at the body language of the president rather than his words. We want to see action.
Okay, Mr. George, thank you very much for calling in. Appreciate your call. Would you agree, first of all, with Mr. George's assertion that the president has been clear in his order? But why hasn't there been a commensurate clarity in the execution of the order as it is perceived in some quarters?
You know, the issue of security men hitting hard.
Yes.
Is a security strategy that you don't expect them to come to public, to the media, that they are hitting them hard.
But I'm
assuring you today, we said Abuja to Kaduna is a killer zone, but today you can move freely because military men have been deployed. And you can see as it's a fire for fire between them and the bandit. At least people can move now freely. So if you say they're not hitting them hard, it's because it doesn't come to the media. Not everything the media says. One thing about you, the media is you always see the bad aspect, and the good aspect, you don't publicize it. That is the fact about it. But I'm assuring you, the directive of the Mr. President has been taken.
You politicians do the same. But that was just a joke. That was just a joke, actually. I was just joking.
Let me respond to that. Yes. Why you don't say action is this. Because you have to be very careful not to be an armed Shia leader. where you just sit down in your office and ask people go and do things. You need to be on the road yourself. And you see some of the governors, they try to do that, and I must commend them. I can talk about Ogun State. Sometimes you see the governor inspecting all these road projects here and there. Otherwise, if you sit in your office, people are going to tell you what you want to hear. That, yes, we have done this, we've done 10 kilometers and all this. And then at the end of the day, it's all lie. So the president can give an order. The monitoring is very, very important also. And also time scale is also equally important. Now, if you ask them, go and hit them hard, they need to report back after 1 week with, look, what are your strategies? We need to look at it. How are you going to do it? The president is not going to hold ammunition or gun and what have you. He can only sit down and give an order. But what you need to do is that once you give that order, you ask them to come back in a week and report back. And apart from that, you need to monitor that, look, your order is being carried out.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you see...
But to that, I would say that there are so many reporting layers. The president doesn't need to actually, you understand?
So we have to be very careful. If there's too much layers, the system will become very defective.
We can be
because
lost.
It get bureaucratic and unnecessarily. So all those layers, you need to reduce them.
Let me quickly bring Ada in, because she will come in herself otherwise. Good morning, Madam Ada.
Good morning, Mr. Yori. Confidence of the season.
Indeed.
Good morning.
Happy Easter.
Guests there.
Yeah.
There should be the political will to deal with the issue of insecurity holistically. There should be unity of purpose, which can be achieved by speaking with one voice. Another approach is to address it from a socio-economic viewpoint by addressing the issue of unemployment, poverty, illiteracy, providing basic amenities of life, above all, providing an enabling environment for the youth to survive. It's time to look at the issue of having state police. We can work more efficiently with the community, since state police will be predominantly indigenous of the state, that's the people who are going to be recruited there. The Electoral Act should be signed into law to enable us to have a more credible election in 2023. Your guests, they're talking well, but this is the time to be objective over issues. When it comes to infrastructure, yes, I give it to President Buhari, but that infrastructure, human beings will use it. When we are all here, we will use the infrastructure. So now all I'm trying to say here is that this is time for governance and seek a truth to power. Let the Buhari let the administration stop. Fixing the blame. Let him fix the problem. God bless Nigeria. Let's not give up on this country. We'll get it right sometime, someday.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Indeed. By the way, that question of state police that she brought up, you know, we've been talking about that for quite a while in our national conversations here. Where do you stand on that particular aspect?
Necessarily speaking, I'm in support of state police. Because, you see...
Is your principle?
Is that what?
Is your principle true?
It is my opinion. It is
that's your opinion.
My opinion, yes.
Distinguishing it from that of Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yeah, but I'm assuring you, you know, my principal, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, last time he knew what is right for Nigeria. Okay? He has been... We need to know who Bola Ahmed Tinubu is very well. You need to understand that he's someone that studied the situation of things before he looked for solutions. He has the solution already. But you take a look at the scenario and how things are happening. And I believe, well, I don't want to get into discussion.
I opened the door. I opened the door. In fairness, I opened the door. But thank you for just saying, okay, because there's going to be much more time for those kind of conversations.
Yes,
you know, but just the principle of it, not really a political issue. Ada brought up the matter of state police because we're thinking of everything now to better the situation.
Personally, I don't have any problem with that. But there's something that comes with that. Community policing also is very important. You can have Amotekun and what have you. They need to go into that community and be very visible. And at the same time, my major concern is that we need to try as much as possible to make sure that they are well trained. And that is the way forward. Because, you see, there's something I would just like to tell you and your viewers, is that some of these criminals, they have a lot of rights than you, the victim. And once that right is violated, to bring them to justice can cause all sorts of problems. Okay. And this is very, very important. We train our security forces to know in order not to cross the line.
Okay, because it's important, because somebody brought up the matter of in the north, I mean, from somebody from the north, I don't know if it was Elder Yeni, I don't know, somebody said that the ones, we don't see justice meted out to these people. Raleigh in Benin City, did I get the name right? Good morning.
Good morning.
Carry on, please.
Yes, good morning, Uncle Yuri.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Sir, please. I really want to call the man on the right, I think your left-hand side, he's not really coming out straight. Because if it goes by the way he's discussing, we are not ready to have this thing resolved. Let him come out and tell us exactly what the government is ready to do. Yes, the man, yes, sir. But while the other man is, at least he's trying his best to tell us what would the way forward. Right now, he's telling us there's peace in Kaduna. Is he sure there's peace in Kaduna? Right now, as we are speaking, in Imo State, they just released 1,500 prisoners. And that is going to add up to the problem we are having right now. And the body language APC government are giving Nigerians is terrible. They are out to trade blame to the PDP government. We agree the PDP government did not really do anything. Now, you are coming. What are you planning to do? And what are you going to make Nigerians happy? He told us that they are helping Nigerians to come out of poverty. That is not true. Okay. I personally applied for that COVID-19 loan. As I speak to tomorrow, we've not gotten anything. Okay. We've not gotten it. I don't know who is telling them the stories. Now, I don't know who is telling them the stories that they want to believe. Let them go down to their own constituency and ask questions and stop hearing from their PA. The PA are there to collect their salaries. They're not telling you the truth. I'll indulge him and admonish all of them to come out straight, because as the other man rightly said, or somebody called earlier, the problem is coming near to them now. I'm not a politician. Nobody knows me. You are wearing a big agbada white and you'll be indicated outside. Let us think now and work towards resolving this problem. It's burning right now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Rolly. It's just as well I wasn't wearing an agbada today. So, otherwise, but thank you very much, Rolly, for the very important point you make. And no doubt there's going to be plenty more conversation and discussions on those aspects as we move forward. Because we're moving into the season, suffering by suffering, so to speak. For the moment, these are just main opinions. But you can't deny, even though you can't deny that great strides have been made in infrastructural development. Maybe not as much as we would like, but considering what has been done before, great strides have been made. I don't know. Look, even my friend, Barista, he can't deny that one. He doesn't even want to deny it.
I didn't make it. I haven't said anything.
Yes, But look, but the point that
realistic.
The point that
on a realistic note, I'm not saying that efforts are not being made.
A lot of progress has been made.
I'm not going to use the word great stride, but I'm going to say
and you don't want to use the word progress.
Well, I can use progress with invited comma. But the point I'm saying, Mr. Yori, there is anger in the land.
Oh, yeah.
Those who are saddled with responsibility needs to deal with that. And those who wants to come in and take over, they will need to come forward how they are going to deal with this anger, the poverty in the land. That is very important.
It is.
You can have as many free infrastructure as you like.
No
Until
problem.
we deal with that, then we have a problem in our
And as Comrade Abubakar Kuso said, his man already has very clear ideas on those particular questions. Did I get you right?
Yeah.
Thank you. So I want to thank you both, gentlemen. It's been an interesting conversation. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, whether we're electing or we're selecting when that time comes. We're doing a mixture of both. And the important thing is, I guess we should be getting ourselves ready and keep our eye on the sparrow, that it can get better. It's not a hopeless situation. I guess that's what everybody seems to agree on. Thank you very much, Barrister Femi Aino, Ogun West 20. 23 and international and aspirant. But you didn't get to tell me on what platform you want to run. You say we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay, if that's the way. And I want to thank you too, Comrade Abubakar Kuso, National Coordinator, Bola Tinubu Support Organization, and indeed to thank you all at home for calling in and making the program as interesting as it is. COVID-19 is still an emergency. Don't treat it like we're out of an emergency. Please continue to wash your hands, and mask up and observe the 6 feet social distancing rule. That's our program today. Enjoy the rest of your holiday. See you tomorrow, God willing. I'm Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.